Folks, today I would like to share some of my thoughts on one of the major structural problem in the human society these days. It exists in the name of caste system in India and also in other parts of the world. It exists as an issue of race, poverty level, and so on. And also between the countries, countries are developed countries with a lot of military power, and developing countries without much military power, and poor countries, as in South, for example, Africa and other places in the world. I want to talk about how all these things happened. What was the process by which this major structural problem manifested in the world? I will take the caste system in India, and then I will map the problems there into the similar system, similar structural problem in other countries, for example, in America, as well as between countries. As you all know, that human beings use the human body and experience this world using the human body as an instrument. And I've been telling that independent of the human body, outside the human body, there are these three divine lights: the white light, the golden light, and the red light, which is called by various names in various religions. For example, it's called Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in the Hindu system, and it's called just the Holy Spirit, Son of Man, Son of God, and Father principle in Christianity. So let's start with the body, human body, and I will bring in the other three divine lights very soon. As you all know, in general, the body has two major kinds of power: the muscle power and also the intellectual power or the mind power. These powers manifest in the yogic terminology in as various energies in the first lower six chakras. Sixth chakra, for example, is where the mental power, intellectual power, sharpness of the mind, etc., exists. And in using the energies in the lower chakra, people have a different kind of muscle power in general. I don't want to go into details of how that happened, but that's not essential for our discussion today. Now, using these two um, bodily powers, that is, the intellectual or the mental power and the muscle power, naturally people in the past, for quite some time, from time immemorial, as long as the history goes, various kinds of activities, and they've performed various kinds of functions. For example, those with a lot of intellectual power, the mental power, performed certain kind of intellectual activities, and those who have a little bit less intellectual power with a lot of muscle power, they probably came to be called the kings and the fighters in the olden days. And the first group just I mentioned was called Brahmins in Hindu system. And also there is a business class in Indian caste system, and finally what is called Shudra, or the people who do very menial jobs. Now, people definitely have different levels of intellectual power and also the muscle power in their body, and accordingly they performed different tasks. As far as, I mean, at this level there was no issue in Indian Hindu system, but what happened later is that these I mean, the people were classified or grouped into four classes: those with a lot of mental intellectual power as Brahmins, and those with more muscle power, a little bit less intellectual power. They were performing the function of kings and fighters in a battle, and so on. What is called Shudra, the lower level, had they were performing a kind of a skilled work or unskilled work, should I say, because they didn't have much intellectual capacity, mental power, and also and have a little bit of strong muscle power. Now, please don't mistake me saying that I'm trying to raise this caste system issue in Indian society and trying to divide the people. I want to bring in the major problems, how those problems happened, manifested in Hindu society, and it is also prevalent in other countries in other forms like race. Please keep that in mind. Don't mistake me. Now, as far as, I mean, till the folks were performing various functions in the society based on their intellectual and muscle power, there was no issue. But when people were grouped into various classes. That is, those who have a lot of intellectual power, they were called Brahmins, and the second group was called Kshatriyas, the kings, and so on. And when these groups were formed, and it was stipulated that those who were born in a specific class group automatically inherit all the powers, all the characteristics of that group. For example, if you are a Brahmin, if you are born in a Brahmin family, then you automatically it's given to you that you have a lot of intellectual power compared to others. And if you're born for example, in the Kshatriya family as a child, then you are automatically have a lot of muscle power and less intellectual power. And as you all know, that this didn't happen in the case of Buddha. Though he was a Kshatriya, he renounced and went in search of God with a lot of curiosity, just like any Brahmins will do in those days. Now, it is this stipulation that someone born in a group automatically inherit all the characteristics, muscle strength, and the intellectual power, can perform the functions assigned to that particular class or group, is the initial the major problem in the beginning. As I've been saying in my whole earlier videos, that people inherit their body structure, including in the intellectual power and the muscle power, and also various ignorances in two ways. One is using the chromosomes. They inherit the characteristics of their ancestors, more or less, but there is also another way that they inherit, and that is using the mental power or the life experience of another person who lived in the past, and when that person dies, then he or she leaves that experience, intellectual power, muscle power, and also various ignorances, their life experiences in the, as I said, in the world, the minds of humanity, what sometimes called Akashic record by certain group of people. Now, based on the time and also the place and the parents and also some other divine parameters which I cannot divulge in videos into anyone because those powers will be misused. Based on those parameters, some people inherit the power of or the lack of power or characteristics of those who lived in the past. That you can see, for example, though somebody is born in a family doing the menial job, some people sometimes become extremely intellectual. They become to rise to the level of scientists and so on. Not only that, they had the tendencies to explore the existence of God. They have, without doing much work, they get spiritual powers. So that's what is called in Indian Hindu system as saying that I'm an avatar of so and so. For example, Satya Sai Baba used to say that I'm an avatar of Shirdi Sai Baba, and so on. Now, this does not mean, as I said, there is a rebirth. There is no rebirth. The I feeling that people have in their body has only one life, but but there is a rebirth to the experiences left behind by an earlier person. I talked about this in other videos extensively. You can go and watch them. Now, because of this, it is possible somebody born in a Brahmin family may become, extremely dumb, and they don't have much intellectual power. They can only do the menial job and so on. But because they were born in a high group, Brahmin family, then they automatically get all the power and the functionality of that group, and that is where the first problem started. If they have not divided the people, they meaning the Hindu system has not divided the people based on their intellectual and muscle power, and then this won't have happened. So the second problem in dividing people into various categories, as they did in the caste system, is that certain people, especially the Brahmin group, they wrote books about God, and they started using the notion of God to dominate and to enslave other people. And also, as far in the same way, people in the Kshatriya group, that is the group of kings and for the fighters in the battle, they dominated other people. They lived a very luxurious life and they dominated other people using their muscle power and also to some extent their intellectual organizing power and so on and so on. Now, it is this domination and enslaving, for example, enabled Hitler to wage a war against non-Aryans. He claimed that the Aryan race is a superior race, and they are born to rule other people and so on. So, and this is the second problem. The reason why this started happening in the age called the era called the Kali Yuga is that they lost the power of divine love. As I said, independent of the muscle and intellectual power, the mental power in the human body, there are these three lights, divine lights surrounding the human body, and one of them was this golden light, and it is the birthplace of one. It is the divine love, and it unites each and every body independent of which caste they belong to, what kind of muscle and intellectual power they have in their body. If, for example, the Brahmins realized the love, divine love, then they wouldn't have enslaved or they wouldn't have tried to dominate the people in the lower category, for example, Shudras and also. By the way, people they not only dominate other groups but also they dominated within the group. The men dominated the women using the concept of God, etc., etc. In other words, the major thing that was missing in the age and the era called Kali Yuga is divine love. If they had that divine love, nobody would have enslaved or dominated or would have done any harm to the other groups of people. So this is what was lacking in the Kali Yuga, and in the coming divine love, the age of divine love, and that is what will dominate. For example, in America, there's a lot of, as I've been saying in the previous video, there's a lot of riots going on and based on the race, and still there are a lot of people who think that white people are superior to the black people and so on, or at the level of the religion, Christians are they will go to heaven when the second coming of Jesus Christ happens, and everybody else will be judged and sent to hell and so on, so on. So people who preach, they are this intellectual people like Brahmins in Hindu society. They try to dominate, enslave the other people, and preach that one race is superior to another race, one religion is superior to another religion, and so on and so on. It also happens at the level of the prosperity. For example, if you don't have much money, then you belong to one group, and if you have a lot of money and if you're rich, you belong to another group. The rich always try to dominate, not everybody, but many people try to dominate the poor people, And as I said, please do not mistake me. I'm not saying that everybody and every rich person does that. There are a lot of good rich people doing philanthropic activities throughout the world. So don't mistake me on that point. Now, this class war happens not only within a country at the level of the religion or the race or the caste system, but also between the countries. They say that my country is a superior country because I belong to such and such a religion, and I have a lot of military power, and I can do whatever I want to. I can impose economic sanctions on another country, and if I don't like what is going on in their country and so on, this kind of domination is again domination of one country on the other countries, again based on this class system, caste system. The main reason is that the love, divine love, is missing. Independent of the country, independent of the religion, independent of the caste system or the power, the prosperity level, everybody is a form of divinity, and that is what they forget. And so, folks. So, in short, the reason why all this class war and the caste system domination because of the caste system happened in the human society in the Kali Yuga is because they try to group people based on the intellectual and the muscle power, and they dominated, enslaved the other people and the other groups, and they lost the touch of the divine love. uh, that is, in short, the major problem, all kinds of problem that's happening these days in the world. In the forthcoming age of divine love, this divine love will dominate. And for that to happen, the existing system of the class war should go. And for that will not go so easily. And as I said, there will be major problems in the world, just like corona and other things. Corona, in my opinion, is not a major problem. There are more serious problems yet to come because of this divisive mentality of various countries and people. And at the end, all the ego of all the people, the ego where all these class definitions exist, will melt, and and the people will automatically realize the divine love underneath that, and that will usher in the era of divine love. Folks, that's what I want to talk to you today. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will respond. Talk to you soon, folks.